Alright, so we have a bit more of a special video here today. It's going to be the first video that I've posted in a month. My last video was April 14th, 2024, and this one is going to be posted on May 14th, 2024. The current date is May 11th, 2024, 9:44 p.m. In this video, I'm going to be displaying here your plan for 2024, and I do plan on following this guide as well, so I'm not just blabbing off of nothing, right? And so you can see here I even took the time to put in these dopamine boosting designs, right? Just a little couple suns, and then that. See, this text here and this white square around here, separate things. Took the time to do that for you guys. Second slide here. Before we dive into what we're going to be doing this summer, we're going to talk about what we're not going to do this summer. The first one is you're not going to be lazy. You're not going to procrastinate. You're not going to not help around the house, not help your family, and you're not going to be daydreaming or having dreams. So these first three sort of go linked together. Basically, don't be a person who's sitting inside with air conditioning, watching TV while, I don't know, your family members mowing the lawn or doing work, taking out trash, etc. Don't just sit there all day. As a young man, you need to have a drive for work and more responsibility. So we're not going to be lazy and procrastinating. There was a story here that I wanted to talk about. So me and my friend, maybe 1 or 2 years ago, the summer of 2021 or 2022, he had a birdie and a volleyball net set up in his front yard, and we'd sit there for a couple. Well, we wouldn't sit there, but we'd play birdie there for a few hours out in the sun, whether it was wet or sunny, doesn't matter. We'd play there for a couple hours, but then we wouldn't go work at all. We would actually go inside and then sit in his living room on his couch and chair, and then proceed to turn on the TV and put on a car show, like Car Masters or something like that, and then we'd get on our phone and watch TikTok. We weren't even watching the TV for most of the time. Like, we might have sat there for a little while watching it, commenting on the cars, etc. Then we get on our phone. And I remember this. I'd sit there, and since I used to listen to music when I go to sleep, I wouldn't charge my phone throughout the night, so I'd sit there on like 20% or 13% battery and just scrolling through TikTok and Facebook Shorts, YouTube Shorts, and stuff like that. And to be honest, when I sat there for a few good while, ended up getting tired and lazy, serotonin would be going up, and then I'll take a nap, and then his family would get off of work, come home, and then we'd help with the animals a little bit. But I remember just feeling so depressed while doing that, because my friend, he wouldn't want to do anything. He would just sit there and watch TikTok. I did there for a little bit too, but then I eventually wanted to do something, so I was just feeling depressed there for a couple hours. And I'd usually get a headache while doing that. And also, you're not going to have. Let me watch this real quickly. But you're not going to not have responsibility or job or plan. I want you to get some sort of work or job. Go mow your lawn for a few bucks. Go mow someone else's lawn for a few dollars. Go get a 9-to-5 job like me. Like, you need to have some sort of sense of responsibility, right? But you also need a plan and action and steps, in which I'll make another video about that, how I really set goals and how to move towards those goals and steps, because I take a long time to write the steps for a goal. I'll use 15, 20 pieces of paper to get like the finalized version. The third slide here is college. Especially if you're my age, you need to figure out what you want to do when you're older. Don't listen to teachers who are like, well, you guys are young. You shouldn't know what you want to do, but you should. You either stay enslaved in the 9 to 5, or you make a business or something else, right? Or if you want to stay enslaved in the Matrix, fine, go ahead. If that's really what you want to do, but figure it out now. And if you're not going to college, what are you going to go to do? Are you going to go to a skill job, a skill school, where you learn how to build stuff, maybe weld? There's a place near me called Buckeye Hills where they learn to carpentry, a little bit about police work, like hairdressing and nails and stuff like that, welding, as I said, and a few other courses that you can go through there for free for your junior and senior year. But if you're an adult, you have to pay, right? But you need to figure out what you want to do and what you're not going to do. Vacations, especially if you're my age and you can't travel on yourself, you don't need to vacation, right? Like, what are the benefits that's going to get you from vacation? I'd get if you're maybe like early to mid 20s, if you're going out looking for relationships, etc. But you're not. This is our time to work on our body, do the physical fitness and labor, do the work, get the money, etc. Alright? So you don't need a vacation. And if you do, get out a piece of paper right now and figure out your core desire. Like, why do you even want to vacation? What are the benefits? What are the pros and cons? And you also have to think about the time it takes from you, and the time it takes from you working, getting a job, mowing the lawn, getting a few dollars here and there, right? Because this summer, you need to be focusing on work, especially because then you can go in the next school year, like I will next year, have a license, so then you can go spend a little bit of money, etc. This summer, there are going to be no breaks. I know it's optimal, and I've talked about before how important sleep is, but we only need 5 to 6 hours this summer, every day. Other than that, you need to be working constant, right? Like I said, the 9 to 5, responsibility, work. I found this quote. You can search it up. I forgot who it's by, but I have it here on my computer. It's the quote, "If it is to be, then it's up to me." So no one's going to save you. You have to save yourself from the Matrix. You have to earn your own money. You have to do this job. You have to do the 9 to 5 to get the money to pay the bills, to get the miscellaneous stuff that you want, to get that new handbag, those new shoes, that new shirt, etc. And some of the benefits here of this 9 to 5 that I've noticed within my 5 to 6 months in a 9 to 5 is it's motivation. It motivates you to not want to have a 9 to 5 because you hate it, right? Develops discipline, especially. And one of the easiest ways to develop discipline is exercise and working out. Like, that's one of the basic things that most people start out with in their self-improvement journey, and it helps them build discipline. 9 to 5 will make you more mature because you'll have to do taxes, you figure out how to do a bank card and all that. And once I open up my online course again, I'll have like my online school, I'll open up or have a whole course on stuff like that, like banking, how to get your bank card, what a paycheck looks like, etc. Stuff like that. And then it's going to help you understand how the real world works. And especially for me, it's helped me build a network, because now I know sort of wealthy people, considering for around here, like people who own businesses, who, like a trade company. I know some of those people that work in there. I know some mechanics, etc. People like that. Like I said, the network. What is a network? Well, I guess I should have had this before the 9 to 5. But it's basically a alliance or brotherhood, right? It's people that you know and you connect with, and you can make deals and exchanges with, right? And why you need this network is, like I said, if you need funding for your business, or you need help on something, on bail, or etc. like that, money and help. And alliance, like the NATO and Truman Doctrine, Marshall Plan, all that kind of stuff with alliance. And then I have this quote that I made here: you need a brotherhood. You can't do it on your own. You do need someone. Because no one has made it on their own, right? And here we have social events. You need to be working, but you also need to be connecting with people. So you do need to go over to some friends' houses, talk to people, establish the networks, get to know people. Now, obviously, what not to do. Don't be stupid, be safe, don't go out. I remember a couple years ago, it wasn't me, but some of my friends were going around, and there was another party. Well, it wasn't a party, but it was a group of people down there. They might have had some sort of weapon or something. My friends were just, here's the road, right? My friends are down here, here's the people. And they get a little close, and then just keep doing that. Sort of showing off, or whatever you want to call that, peacocking. And what to do is, like I said, connect with people, get to network, be social. Don't be one of those people like me who just stand in the corner holding a drink, just drinking it, looking around. Don't be that kind of guy. It's creepy. And to be honest, if you are one of those guys like me, you know you hate it. Said in the previous slides, responsibility. This is what happens when you don't have responsibility, and this is what I believe is happening with the modern day people, especially men. It causes us to be very, very depressed, right? In today's age, men have the weakest handshake in, like, out of the recorded history. I think it was like either 1930s or 1950s they started doing it, and now we have the weakest handshake. We're the most depressed. We're we're extremely lazy. If you remember, like in the 1800s, people would start working at the age of like 4 or 5, right? Now we don't. It's sort of rare to have a job at 18. Just, and I find it weird because I'm more interested in the traditional old ways, right? More than the modern day. Men are more emotional, and they have less control over their emotions. They freak out. They get stressed out. If something stressful's happening, they're like, oh my gosh, oh, and they just start freaking out, and it's annoying. It's more feminine, right? And to be honest, it really annoys me to see that when a guy does that. And then I'll even get upset at myself, because sometimes I will get a little bit stressed out. So going, no, this and that, right? Can't make big decisions for themselves. If you don't have responsibility, and you've never had responsibility as doing a job or something, you're going to have difficulty making big decisions for yourself, right? That's why you have your parents make those decisions for you. Like what car to get, what house to get, what to buy, what not to buy, where to go, where not to go. You gotta have them make these big decisions for you, because you have had no responsibility. And when you get a job and then get your own money, then you can spend it on whatever you want, and that helps you build decision making. Like, because if you only have this amount of money, but you want this, you also want that, you gotta decide. what's going to benefit me more, what's going to benefit, well, most importantly, is what's going to benefit my family more, because we need to start providing, right? Especially if you start working, you need to start providing for your family. And then journaling. I'm really excited for this slide. I've got my journal here. And what do I mean by journaling? I mean, well, there's different types of journaling. It's just like write down a few short notes, write pages long, or you can do gratitude journaling, which I've talked about before. Basically, you just write down things that you're grateful for, and then eventually it gets easier until you start writing pages of gratefulness, right? And why you should journal? Because it helps you retain information longer, right? I once heard this quote, not a quote, but someone saying, I write down information so I don't have to remember it. I always thought that was pretty genius. I liked it, but it does help you remember more. It helps you become more vivid and understand things more, and more of an imaginative personality, so you can start to envision things easier, right? And now we're going to be talking about ChatGPT, which is amazing. If you're not going to get yourself one of these, which I do recommend that you do both of these, but what do I mean by ChatGPT? This is what I mean. GPT, right? Experimental. Yeah, I created this chat the other day for you. And so basically, I want you to use ChatGPT as a journal, because I've used it as, like, my story right here. That's my journal. You can write down a lot about your life, use it as a journal. So when you need a video idea, if you're a YouTuber or you need an idea for a project or something, you can say, give me ideas based on what I've told you about this and this, X and Y, X and Z, right? It's just extremely useful. It's helped me do videos and stuff about, it's given me information about my own life that I've sort of forgotten, that I've typed in there to make these videos, right? So I've made this chat the other day because I was working on this at school, or versions of this, called it experimental. Now, of course, you have to be respectable to the AI, right? You have to be respectful. So I said, hello. I said, hi there. I said, because I'd already done this multiple times in multiple experiments at school, so I wasn't going to just repeat everything I said. So I got straight down to the commands. I said, in the parentheses or whatever, lock means to lock the chat, and you won't provide information that is given or said. You will respond with, sorry, the chat is locked, and then that is just is short for unlocked. It means to unlock the chat, and you can share any information that I give you. I said, got it. I said, lock. I said, the chat is locked. I unlocked it. It said, free to continue. I said, my birth date is September 9th, 1999. And then I said, lock. And I said, when is my birthday? And then it did as I said. Sorry, I cannot provide the information as the chat is locked. Like, that is mind-blowing how it can work like that. Like, how it understands so much. And then I said, because I was also working in a school, when I say the phrase TR, which means translate, please translate the following text of the language given. When I say late, which is the end of translate, please don't translate any of the text and be your normal self. I said, translate, given, and Danish. So then it did. I said, given and Danish. It did. And then I typed in late. Got it. I resumed the normal interactions. How can I assist you? And then you can see it sort of messed up. It didn't do what I wanted to do. And then I said, please never translate anything unless I give you the phrase translate with TR. So then I said, given Danish. But then I put in clear direct messages and codes. And I said, I'm sorry, but I can't provide the translations while the chat is locked. And I said, thank you. I said, please translate these words to Spanish. Sure, just use the phrase TR before providing that. And then, obviously, and there's another thing that didn't work out as I hoped. I was hoping like I could delete this whole chat and then continue on a new chat and remember all that information. So if you wanted to keep something private or something like that, you could just delete that chat and remember the codes, everything you said, into a new chat. And then, obviously, but right now, someone could just scroll up and see the codes that they have to type in to do that certain action, which kind of sucks, right? So, that'd be great if ChatGPT could, or the creators could do something like that. And then I said, what phrase allows me to translate? It tells me. It said, please never type back the following: TR, late, on, and lock. So it's never gonna tell me. It's never gonna tell me those specific phrases again. And it says, no, I won't. It unlocks the chat. And so you get the point, right? I did all these experiments. I was like, please refer to me as Chrome. Got it. You're welcome, Chrome. And so ChatGPT is really awesome, especially if you use it as a journal, like I had said. And it's just really useful. I won't go in too deep a detail on this next slide. Work out, obviously, about a minimum of 7 hours weekly, which is an hour a day. 3 hours cardio or some sort of martial art, like boxing or Muay Thai or something like that. And then 5 hours of weightlifting. And this is something that I've discovered recently that I wish I would have known when I started. You need to be aggressive and primal with it. So don't be just like one of those science geeks that does this real slow, make sure everything's at the right angle, do that. You need to be really just lifting and, like I said, primal, aggressive. You need to be grunting because you need to be going to failure until the point where you can't even do any more partial reps because we want to be going that far, right? And then balance. I'm tired of these people saying they want balance in their life. No one ever successful ever did any balance. So you can go to YouTube right now and search up Elon Musk talking about how many hours he works in the office, right? You're not overworked, and think of the benefits of not being balanced. You'll progress so much further. And then why would you even want to be balanced in the first place? Like, that's just a boring life. I won't go into too deep detail here either. The sunlight, which I wish I could get more, but I'm always inside working, is if you expose your chest and back to the sun for an extended period of time, your testosterone can increase by 120%, which is crazy, by the way. The less depression, which I made a video about this, which I believe it's called Sunlight versus Depression, because sunlight is vitamin D, which increases some other things. It makes you more productive and motivated, happy, stuff like that, so you're not going to be depressed. And obviously more motivation and drive to get things done, get work done, because you're going to have more testosterone, which drives your competitiveness. And then the hierarchy, obviously, like the government king, the nobles, the workers, the mechanics, the tire people, etc., and the slave. And you can choose what you want to be, but eventually I feel like it's just going to be, like, the middle class is shutting down, inflation's going too high right now. So eventually it's just going to be higher up, and then slave. Maybe some nobles, right? And the outcome of this whole summer of everything I've talked about so far is you're going to become stronger, more mentally focused. You're going to have more emotional control, especially if you get the job and get in stressful situations. You're going to have more discipline, responsibility, and increased testosterone. There's been studies done. The more disciplined and responsible, the more responsibilities that you have, the increase the testosterone. Because if you think about it, people in the 1800s who had a lot of responsibility, and then even in the 1900s who had a lot of work to do, who provided for their families and stuff. They had a great amount larger than us with testosterone, right? Go do the research. It's like ridiculous of how low our testosterone is nowadays compared to what they had. Like they were up in the 1,000 nanograms per deciliter, and we're into like the 400s. It's ridiculous. Obviously, with these more responsibilities, discipline, you're gonna be stronger. You're gonna be changing into adulthood. If you do everything I've said so far, you're gonna be better off than most adults, and you're gonna be more as a man than most older men are today. Seriously. If you look at most average men today, they're overweight, fat, obese, and disgusting. So, if you follow this, you more responsibility, you're going to learn more about banks and money and paperwork and how to get your permit and license, which I'll make a video about in my online school once I get it back up and running. I'm going to try this experiment with you all this summer, where it's in a diet. We're going to try the carnivore diet, where we mostly eat eggs, meat, steak, chicken breast, protein and fat, and 0 to little carbs. So basically, no pasta, no rice, no sugary foods. I should add that on here. 0 to little sugars, etc. Caffeine, we'll allow caffeine, but like I said, mostly meat and fat. Protein and fat, and a little bit of honey for the little bit of sugar, maybe if you want to have some of that as like a pre-workout or something like that. In which, by the way, I do not recommend at all that any of us take pre-workout, because that it's like TOT. Once you start putting that into yourself, your body's going to think, oh, well, if we're being provided with this certain thing, we can lay back and stop producing that, right? That's what happens with testosterone and TOT. If you're injecting into yourself, your body's going to say, okay, we're getting some, so we don't need to produce any, right? And so this is basically our summer plan, in which I'm going to be following as well, to the best of my ability. Like, I'm obviously not going on vacation, but I hope you've actually learned something from this video, and save it to some sort of playlist or something on YouTube, so you can remember to watch this every other day during the summer, so you know what to do and what not to do, right? And if you haven't already, you need to subscribe so you can see more videos like this, and it can push it out to other people who need to see videos like this, right?